James Banks here for Definitive Esports. So I'm here with a man who everyone knows for various reasons. It's Destiny. Recently joined Root, and you're here at the Home Story Cup. How are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm doing good.
So didn't do too well in the tournament. Kind of went out in the groups, but it's a really tough. Like the whole event's tough with the players. Have you been practicing much for this event really, or have you still been playing a lot of League of Legends and just streaming other stuff?
I mean, I'm kind of out of practice, but I've been playing quite a bit. I don't really play League as much anymore. I mainly focus on StarCraft 2 for this. My goal was just to win one game, which I did against Mana. My set against Mana was pretty good, which was kind of cool, except apparently he's having a lot of trouble PvZ lately, so not as cool. After I almost, there was like one game where I could have won it, but I kind of messed up. And so I lost to Mana 1-2. After that I played Snoot, and then I found out that Snoot plays really strange, and it just totally...
Players have said that as well.
Yeah, totally took me off guard, and I got smashed by Snoot 2-0. So I mean, by the time I lost to Snoot, it's impossible for me to pass through groups, which kind of sucks. And yeah.
With a lot of European players being here, are you used to that kind of style of play, or is it completely different from what you're used to?
I mean, I think everybody plays fairly similarly. There are different weird kind of builds that some Europeans use, but I think for the most part, the metagame is pretty standardized between like how the races work in all three areas in America, Europe, and Korea.
So talking about Korea, you just finished that off then. You were recently in Korea. What were some of the highlights of your time in Korea, like the things you enjoyed most?
It was a while ago. It was about 6 months ago. But I mean, I liked it because I could play a lot. I was just literally playing like 8 to 10 hours a day for like 2 weeks, which helped a lot. I mean, as soon as I came back, I was doing pretty good. But then I slack off in America, so.
You're a very controversial character, but you seem like you analyze everything and then say what you feel, which is kind of what we need in a lot of areas. Do you feel like this holds you back in any ways, or just propels your career more?
Oh no, it definitely holds me back in a lot of ways. I kind of have like goals for myself in terms of how much money I want to make, and right now I make enough to take care of my family and my house and everything. So like I don't feel like the need to like pander to the entire community and to try to like make this like super PC, whatever image. So I mean, I am relatively controversial, but I mean on the other hand, you know that when I say something, you know that I believe it, and you know that I'm being sincere about it. Anybody that judges me based on like one or two of my opinions is an asshole. So I mean, there are a lot of people who absolutely hate me because of like my stance on language, and to those people, like, fuck them. Like, I really don't care. If you want to judge somebody based on one facet of your personality, you're pretty much as bigoted as any racist or whatever. So I mean, it's just the way that I view things.
Now we got the person Destiny, and then we've got Steven. Now, is it the same, or do you a lot different from when you're not streaming and stuff?
I'm the exact same person. Like, a lot of people like to build kind of a personality for what they try to do streaming, and in constructing a personality, you just try to appeal to as many people as possible. I'm kind of against that, both philosophically and just kind of as part of my business model. Like, I mean, obviously who I am kind of works for what I do. I'm entertaining enough to where enough people watch me, but I also think it kind of sends, I don't know, like it's a whole nother discussion, but I think it kind of sends a bad message when you tell people like you have to change the personality that you portray if you want a lot of people to like you. Like, what do you think that, like when a lot of like you've got like 16 to 20-year-old males watching streamers, and it's like, if I want to be liked by a lot of people, I've got to change all these things about me so that everybody likes me. I've never been that kind of a person. Not to say there's anything wrong with doing it. I mean, obviously there are people who have very successful business models set up based on that idea, so.
So you recently had to leave Quantic Gaming due to some remarks or some. It was basically, from what we read, it was like saying that a sponsor kind of forced that hand. Mm-hmm. Was that the true reason behind it, or was there anything else behind the scenes going on?
No, Mark's a really nice guy, and everybody that I talked to there was really nice, and it basically came down to either I leave Quantic or the financial support between Quantic and Razer became severely diminished. He gave me the option to stay, and I could have, but at that point, I would feel like I'd become more of a detriment to the team than an asset. I don't want to be on a team where I feel like other people's salaries are being affected by my presence there. So, I mean, I really don't make too much being on teams. So, I mean, it's better for me to be solo, and then they can keep their relationship with Razer.
So, your partnership with Root, how does this all work now?
I'm just a member on the team.
Yeah, just a normal stand-up member?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you think you might have any negative effect on them gaining sponsorship?
I don't know. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It really depends on the kind of sponsors you go after and how they want to handle things. Some sponsors are really, really dumb when it comes to dealing with communities. It sounds kind of rude to say, and it sounds stupid for me as a 23-year-old to, badmouth like a big corporation and a sponsor. But some of them are just really bad at doing homework. Some of them are really bad with the way that they interact or like exchange with teams. So, like on one hand, I guess some sponsors might not want to associate with me because I can be relatively controversial sometimes. But on another hand, I do bring in a lot of viewers, more so than any other streamer at the moment in StarCraft 2. Just because of the amount of time I stream. And then there's the fact that, for the most part, at these events, I'm a pretty professional person. The only time I'm ever controversial is on, my stream, where it's, 18 only, explicit language. So, we just have to be careful when we go after, certain sponsors, how we advertise ourselves. Obviously, if Root pursues a sponsor, it's not going to be, hey, we're all totally politically correct guys and we're super cool, It'll just depend, how we market ourselves and sell ourselves to sponsors.
Okay, so you talked about your streaming. You moved from Twitch to Own 3D. Why did you choose that to move so fast? And has it been a lot more beneficial for you now?
I moved for financial reasons, and in terms of comparing the two, they both have their pros and cons. Yeah.
Which are?
NDA'd.
Okay.
Can't really talk about
no, that's fine.
Specifics. The super obvious thing is Twitch has an awesome community around it, which Own has been trying really hard to build. I don't know if they've been successful in trying to match the community that Twitch has so far, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how things develop along those lines. Regardless of who's the best, it's always better to have two than one. Yeah.
So have you lost any followers from it though?
There are probably a few people that don't watch anymore because I'm not on Twitch, but for the most part, my viewership is okay.
So you are the premier streamer, really. Now, when you went out to start streaming, did you just envision I'm going to be this, or did it just kind of happen because of your personality?
It's just something that grew kind of organically. I just started streaming for fun. I had the computer to kind of handle it, and I've always played games and always been kind of loud and obnoxious sometimes, or however you want to say it, when playing games. So, I figured kind of opening that window to let other people watch would be interesting to see how people would respond to it, and it seemed to get received pretty well. And then as time went on, I just grew more followers. I'm fairly smart when it comes to managing the marketing thing and the marketing aspect of getting my stream out there. I promoted myself on a lot of different forums, and I tried really hard to interact with viewers and whatnot. So I definitely didn't envision it happening at the start the way that it did, but I'm really glad that it did. And yeah.
So you were also removed from Team Liquid, and I don't believe you've been put back on yet?
No, I was put back on.
Oh, you were put back on?
Yeah.
Why did that happen? Was it just because they didn't agree with what you were doing at the time, or?
It's really complicated. I guess, long story short, I BM'd an admin or a mod on a forum, which was pretty bad on my part. In my defense, he was being really obnoxious too, but I call him bad names, and the whole situation. I talked with a lot of the staff at the time, because the relationship with Team Liquid is really important. So I seem to be on good terms with all of them. They said that the situation was handled really poorly on both sides, both in the way that I responded to it and the way that they dealt with it a little bit too. So, it was just kind of a cluster, things. But yeah.
Okay. So for the future now, are you going to continue playing StarCraft at a high level professionally, or are you going to look maybe into becoming? Because I can see you personally becoming a big YouTube personality in all other various games, just from the way you are and the fans you have.
I probably could. It just comes down to prioritizing a lot and deciding what I want to do. I'm pretty childish right now, in that I'm still kind of, I don't know if I would say chasing my dream, but I like to play. That's what I like to do. And I'm competitive. I'm very, very, very competitive. Actually, I really don't like casting. I don't mind casting every now and then. Casting for Home Story Cup is fun. And I don't mind casting for fun with friends or whatever. I could never be a professional caster though, because if I watch too much of a game, I start to go crazy. I just want to play. That's what I want to do. And watching other players make mistakes and just not being able to play drives me crazy.
So it's super passionate as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say super passionate, but I
get that feeling when you're talking.
Yeah. I'm really, really competitive. I can't stand by and watch people play games all day. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch programming. A lot of people watch a lot of programming. I can't watch it. If I watch too much, I would just always rather be playing than watching other people play. So at one point in time, like I do have a kid and everything, I bills to take care of. I mean, maybe at one point in time, if I really do suck, I'll know a lot after Poland. Like Poland is about to be like the test of whether or not I can become anything. If I go to Poland for 3 months and I come back and I bomb out of an MLG at round 3 or 4 of the losers bracket again, at that point, like I'm probably done. Like if I can't make something happen in 3 months, then what's the point? Hopefully I come back and do well though, and then I continue pursuing a competitive career and just kind of go from there.
So you just spoke about Poland, so you're going to go stay in the Ministry of Wind House. We found this out in DreamHack Summer when we talked to the guys there. It looks like a stunning house, like a really premier house out there. So you're saying you're going to stay there for 3 months. Do you have any goals in the long term of what events you want to go to and what you want to achieve from the house, or are you just going to solely practice?
I doubt I'm going to compete much in the house. It's just going to be a grind fest. Not to bash anybody, but I always feel like I don't put in too much time, but I still do pretty well. Like Mana just won DreamHack, and I played 3 games with him, and the first 2 games were really good games. I didn't feel like I was completely outclassed. Like I didn't feel like, oh my god, this guy's just like blowing my mind. The first game was a 35-minute macro game that I barely lost, a lot of back and forth. Second game was like a 30-minute macro game that I barely won, a lot of back and forth. Third game, I was an all-in that I didn't scout correctly, so I kind of lost that one. So I feel like if I sit down and grind for 3 months, I should be able to do pretty well at events. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to. And I know for my time in Korea, and I know for me personally, I'm the kind of person that can sit in front of a computer and play games for 10 hours a day. I hear people talk about oh, it's so hard and to grind, and it's that's not hard for me to do. I've worked real jobs before, shitty jobs before in my life, so it's really easy for me to just sit in front of a computer and play games for 10 hours. So hopefully I'm going to Poland, I do that. And I want to get ripped as fuck in the gym. So.
Okay, so we're going to see a super sexy, streaming, topless, vested...
Topless streaming all day long after I get ripped. That's my goal.
Well, they've got a really good schedule there as well. It seems much better than any other pro houses we've got on the Europe and NA side. Do you have any extra insight into that?
It's time played, man. It's time played. It's the number one complaint I'll always have about every foreigner, and I'm 90% sure every other foreigner would agree with me. It's just time played. Having good schedules and being able to custom is good. A lot of people try to make these posts, so they're like, Koreans have the magic training program. It's not a magic training program. If you're only going to play 4 hours a day, you're only going to perform like you play 4 hours a day, you know? I used to be a music major in college. You could draw a lot of parallels between music and StarCraft 2 when it comes to practice. In music, the people that make it are the people that lock themselves in those practice rooms for 4 to 8 hours a day. Those crazy piano players you see, they're not like that because they're super talented and super, people call them talented and they call them geniuses. They're only like that because they spent 10 hours a day practicing, for so much time. And that's what Koreans do. When I was in the StarTale house, 90% of their time was spent laddering. And when you talk to a lot of pros like Naniwa, they say that they spend most of their time laddering. If you play 10 hours a day, it's going to show in your play,
So, as I do some work for StarTale, what did you enjoy most about being in StarTale, and what were your thoughts on the house?
I like to be able to play a lot. Obviously, being there away from all the distractions that I have in the United States, I could just sit there and grind for 8 to 10 hours every day. And the guys in the house, everybody in the StarTale house is super friendly. They're all cool dudes. July is hilarious. Tiger helped me a lot with my ZVP at the time. Even Nanny was a cool guy to hang out with. Just everybody at the house is super nice. It's just a super cool environment to be in.
That's really good to know. So we'll round this off a bit now. Any last words, anything else you want to say to everyone out there? Because we know we've got a load of Destiny fans, the ones that follow you everywhere.
I appreciate the support. I really appreciate the support for Homestory Cup. I made it here entirely because people donated. So that was really cool. I'm trying to cast as much as I can to make up for that so that people feel like they get their money's worth, I guess, or something out of that. Thanks to Cloud9 Labs for managing my website. Thanks to Root for having me on your team. And thanks to all you guys for watching and supporting me.
Thank you very much, Destiny. It's been a pleasure. It's been James Banks for Definitive Esports. Check out the rest of our home story coverage at d-esports.com.